Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Seattle Seattle Draft to Glory franchise mode series right here on NHL 18. And today we get ready for what is arguably the biggest draft of this series, as we have the extra draft picks thanks to one Joseph Hainsey and the Washington Capitals. Hopefully this episode is audio issue free. Of course, we had the edited down version, which just kind of summarized what happened. I also put out the full version there after people requested it. Holy hell, was the audio bad. If you made it through that, hey, congratulations. But yeah, that was rough. So hopefully things go well this time out. We, of course, made the playoffs for the very first time. We ended up losing to the Winnipeg Jets, but it was an accomplishment to, at the very least, make it to the playoffs. And if there was ever a year to make the playoffs, I'd say it would be in the same year that we had the chance for the extra lottery pick thanks to Washington, and that is exactly what happened. So again, we have 2 first-round picks, we have the 2 second-round picks, and 2 third-round picks this year, and then next year we also have an extra first-round pick. So hopefully the Capitals aren't that smart and they don't make any big-time moves and they make things a little bit easier for us. That would be nice. Whether or not that happens, time will tell. We know how good of a goaltender Hainsey is, and I would not be surprised to see him drag Washington to the playoffs. If anything, they're only one major game changer away, so who knows? They could fill that void in free agency. Of course, they won't do it to the draft, at least in the first round. San Jose and Stockton are your champions. Again, I don't know what it is, but the Stockton Heat are always tremendous. I don't get it. San Jose wins the cup, though. We'll take a look at the bracket, their team, and the awards before moving on, as they beat the Flyers in 5 in the final. Winnipeg went on to beat Nashville in the second round and then lost to the Sharks in 5. So there is that. Again, Stockton wins in 5 games over Wilkes-Barre Scranton. So both championship rounds went to 5 games. I believe Alan Yasina is going to be the main player here, as I hit the wrong button. Wait, hold on a second there. I thought Raymond McDonough had a much better potential. I'm like, hold on a second. Indeed, it is Alan Yasina. I don't know how I remembered that, to be honest. 22 points in those in these playoffs, in this postseason run. Dave Moore with 21 points. From there, it dropped off, but I'm happy that Bear McCann is a champion, because what a goddamn name Bear McCann is. That still might be the best name I've seen. As congratulations to 35-year-old Nick Schultz. Christopher Bureau, he was the guy with stupidly high offensive awareness outside of the draft. Would have been great if he was eligible for us. He was not, but he is also a Stanley Cup champion. Willie Flood, great name as well. Cam Campagna, the Campagnas, the Champagnes, the Campagan, the Champagan. He is a Stanley Cup champion. So that's good. A big-time win there for the Sharks. Moore won the Art Ross, Jenkins the Hart, Rasmus Dahlin the Norris, Mitch Marner the Lady Byng, Tarasov the Calder, Campagna wins the Conn Smythe, the Vezina also to Jenkins. So Pittsburgh's goaltender, they're doing incredibly well. McDavid wins another Selke to the surprise of nobody, and Jenkins. We need to look up Jenkins here, because he had a spectacular season for the Penguins. And, of course, there are no familiar names, and none of our players in Tacoma taking home any hardware. Quickly, let me look at Pittsburgh. I want to see the stats of their goaltender, particularly from the regular season. George Jenkins, only a 90. I would have thought he would have been better, and he still finished with a great save percentage, a former first-round pick. 938 save percentage and a 185 GAA. That is incredible. He is very much deserving of all of the awards that he took home this season. With that, I think we are good to go. So let's do this. It is draft time. A lot of pressure is on us here. We know that we're at the stage of being, at the very least capable of making the playoffs, as Washington ends up with the 8th pick. That's not bad. I will take a top 10 pick in this draft. Of course, I'm not sure who's there, but a top 10 pick and an extra first round pick as well. That is tremendous for us. So I will gladly take that. Although I believe we fell down. I believe certain teams moved up. I'll double check that. But a lot of pressure here as Connor Garland retires. No real surprise. A lot of pressure is on, happens to be on our shoulders right now, knowing that year in and year out we could be a playoff team at this point in time. So factor in that we might not be getting any more top 10 picks anytime soon. These next 2 years are oh so important. Braden Holtby retires. In real life, tonight was the night of Game 4. As I've said before in certain videos, hoping Vegas wins Game 5, I'd be perfectly fine with Washington winning in 6. But with the way Braden Holtby's playing right now, can't help but think Washington might win the Stanley Cup in 5 games. Morgan Riley retires, nearly hit 1,000 points and 200 goals. That is tremendous. And forward-wise, for retirements, Tarasenko finished with 740 goals. Philip Forsberg also did quite well. Jonathan Drouin fell short of 1,000 career points. So with the retirements out of the way, the awards, and everything else, it is draft time. Why it stopped me 1 day short? I don't know. Maybe I hit stop sim accidentally. That's kind of weird. But we are good to go. It is draft time. I did want to take a look at the standings, though. Did we miss out, and did teams jump Washington in the standings? Again, we ended up with the 8th selection. Where did Washington finish? No, we're good. We're good. That's right where we should have been. So no teams moved up, really. I mean, some teams might have, but we still have the 8th pick. So I am not complaining. The big question, are there players eligible inside the top 10, and will one of them fall to the 8th pick? It is time to find out. The moment of truth. Again, we only have the 4 teams that are eligible for us to select from. And of course, the WHL is loaded, as it always is. Let's find out, though. Michalski, not eligible. Popovich, not eligible. Rodney is, oh my god, and he's going to go early, too. Jack Rodney looks like one hell of a defenseman. And that could have been an amazing player for us, but that won't be the case. Jake Mann of the Calgary Hitmen. Andy Fraze of Prince George. And then from there, we got to hope that one of these 5 are good. We have Neuendijk, not eligible. Graham, not eligible. Busenius, not eligible. That leaves 2 left. A defenseman in the center. Rawlings, not eligible. What about Boland? Not eligible. No Billy Boland on this team. We know Rodney's not going to fall to us, so that's a little bit disappointing. Hopefully there's somebody left. I know McChesney's there, but let's keep looking. Raymond Rollison, not eligible. Ronald McChesney is. The hope, of course, is that he'd be medium elite. Odds are we will end up with him one way or another. But Ronald McChesney's certainly not going to have the highest starting overall. Norm Hoffman is not eligible. Brookbank, not eligible. Tennell, not eligible. That's unfortunate. What about Bieksa? No. Rintoul is. So Ben Rintoul could be another pickup. Certainly not ideal. Bradley Paxpu. The Paxapatapa. Paxpu. Yeah. Bradley, weirdly finished last name. What about Hansen? Not eligible. Bowl is not eligible. Damn. That brings us down into the 1st to 2nd range. Let's start off with Sawyer. Not eligible. Moran. Not eligible. This is rough. We need at least one more guy, and we won't have anyone else that's projected to go in the 1st round. So this was, of course, the risk that we might not end up with the most ideal talent. The cards may not play out in our favor, and that appears to be the case, as we do have some players eligible, but it's still not ideal, and Gianna's also not there. So we've marked 5 players. We will see who is eligible with these first 2 picks. Let's sim to the number 8 pick. Graham, Neuendijk, Michalski, Mann, Popovich, Fraze, and Rodney went 1st overall to the New York Rangers. This is a terrible draft, by the way, so that kind of backfired. But Rodney, the number 1 pick, medium elite, 77 overall, and then from there, straight to the 60s. A terrible top half of the draft, but that could leave an opening for there to be some late round steals. There's no debate on who this first pick is going to be. It's going to be Ronald McChesney, just for the promise. And then from there, we'll see. We might have to dip down into the second round. But McChesney is the pick with this 8th overall selection. And all things considered, he's not bad. But this is obviously a terrible draft. Medium top 6 is okay, but he's a very low 57 overall. How quickly will he develop? Our next pick is the 23rd. And in case of evidence there, Bowl at low elite, Combs, Friggin, good old Friggin, also a medium elite. So, oh boy, we have to hope with some of these later rounds that we can find a steal or two. Let's sort through the entirety of the second round. And I need to sort by the WHL so that it doesn't take an hour and a half. Erskine, not eligible. Bodie, nope. Voros, Gianna, Baradziuk, oh boy, well, he's eligible, but I don't really think we're going to want him. Hewitt isn't eligible. What about Mr. Cox here? Brock Cox, not eligible, so that's great. It's the only time you're going to get to hear me say his name like that. And from there, a goaltender with Chad Pitton. This is, oh boy, this is rough. Morgan Bureau is eligible. Hamonic. What about Wheeler? Duke Wheeler. Such a great name. And he's going to go to waste not being on our team. Cedric Barlow. Oh, my. Oh, my. We have been shortchanged here by this game. This is looking like it could be an incredibly rough draft, at least with the extra picks that we've ended up with. So I'm trying to get a full read on who is eligible to us that, is expected to be drafted. And unfortunately, the answer to that, or, the answer to how in-depth that list is going to be is, it's a short list. So, I mean, in terms of taking Duda, I wish he had a higher overall. Like, we could select him. I'd much rather select him over Joel Wood. And then, Brodziuk isn't worth it. Hamonic isn't worth it. Or Hamonic's not eligible. It's Bureau that's eligible, and he's not worth it either. We'd be looking at Redden from there. So, I think medium top 9's obviously not all that bad. We are going to take Zach Duda, but for the most part, we're going to be making off-the-board selections in this draft. So we'll take Zach Duda here in the first round. I had some hopes that he might be high top 9. He is not. He's medium top 9 and a 55 overall. So I do still feel okay about the decision of letting go of Hainsey. But obviously, in terms of how this draft is shaping up, I mean, no one could have predicted that this would have been really one of the worst drafts of the series, if not outright the worst draft of this entire series. In terms of high-end talent, it is brutal, and in terms of luck of the draw, it hasn't been that kind to us either. So we are going to look to go off the board here. Redden is the next pick. The higher attributes certainly help. I'm hoping for at least a medium top 9. Please don't fall to low top 9 or medium bottom 6. Mr. Jamie Redden, the 20-year-old center. Medium top 9's okay. 64 overall as well. That is not too bad of a pickup. Certainly better than any of the medium bottom 6s or even medium 7s that we could have ended up with. Of course, there's that very slim, outside chance that one of these players might end up having a high potential, like a high 7th or something like that for Baradziuk, but it's so unlikely that we might as well just take risks and guess with other players. So let's take a look here. Von Fersen isn't eligible. We need to figure out who the hell we're going to get here. The first step, of course, is figuring out who is actually eligible for our team. Sheldon Knight. I'd prefer you to be 20 years old. Rich Guilas, Everett, and Dingman. Let's just get a full look at the centers. We have Ranford, Sandlack. We have a Bowleries who's not eligible. Kenny Cashman, great name, not eligible. Jaden Chan. So close yet so far. Ian Riddle's not eligible. Oh my God. David Hemingway. How many more? DeNicola, not eligible. And Brigley is eligible. Okay. So just in terms of centers, that's the first thing I wanted to look at. Is there anybody that's worth picking here? Brigley's 18. Ranford's 18. Guilas is 19. And Knight is also 19. So no 20-year-olds. None of those options look that promising, at least not to the point where I'm going to select one of them now. This game has certainly made things a bit more difficult, we'll say, than I expected them to be for this draft. This was absolutely worst case scenario. Was there one extra guy? There wasn't. All right, left wings. Who do we have on the left wing? Is there anybody here? Carcillo, Sidhu, Bradley Sidhu could be worth it, and Bradley Pope could be worth it. So that's a decent start. I'd expect both of them at best to be medium bottom 6, but suppose you never know. We might be able to get lucky. Tony McKay, 19, or Mackey, not quite what we're hoping for here. Ned Moss, also 18. So there are some players that are eligible, but even looking for the old bang average pick, which would be, a 20-year-old with the medium top 9 potential offensively or medium top 6 defensively, it's not looking all that good for us. But we will continue to search out here. We got nothing but time just to get a full look at the scope of the, players that might end up being half decent. Isaac Pettinger, I wouldn't trust that for him being half decent. We have a Creamer. Gordy Creamer, not eligible. There are some great names in this draft, and unfortunately, none of them are eligible for me to pick. So that's a bit of a disappointment. Left wing, though, we know we have a couple of guys there towards the top of the board that could be worth it. Bear Roloff, by the way, and Barry Fritz. There we go. We found a 20-year-old finally. Bob Chelios, not quite. So in terms of left wings, we're looking okay. I want to take a look at right wings here since we have the extended time, though, and then we'll worry about defense from there. Whoops, I went to the U.S. somehow. Oh, wrong trigger. That would explain it. Should I have announced this as Tired 24? I'm not feeling that tired. That was just a weird one. Clifford could be worth it. Nathan Orr. We have Will Kearns. McLean, not eligible. Mink is not right. Another Creamer. Both of them not eligible. I am upset about this. What about Pusher? Nope. Cuber? James K. Let's go with James K. A lot of Calgary players this year as well. Tanev, not eligible. Douglas, not eligible. I was so hoping his name was going to be Doug Douglas. Or Douglas. Billy Swanson. Brad Leidecker. Oh, the Leidekers. That would have been nice. Or the Leidekers, for that matter. Andy Ralston. Yeah. So in terms of forwards, we have one right wing and a couple of left wings, and then from there, we're just going to have to hope for defense. So in terms of picks, how many selections do we have left? This is our second round pick, so we have 2 more thirds. Basically, I want to see how many defenders we're going to be looking to take. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. So we can basically take all of these forwards and then look for defense from there. We need a little bit of extra help forward-wise anyway, so I'm going to prioritize that. We're going to go way off the board here, and we're going to select Stan Clifford, the 18-year-old from the Spokane Chiefs, 6'3", 202 as a two-way. Stanley, how good are you? You're not. You're a low top 9 and a 53 overall. That is unfortunate. I really don't. I mean, I do like to see if AIs manage to find steals, but in a series like this, it hurts that much more because, of course, these players would have never been eligible to me anyway. So I almost don't care to know. 3 more players here. We will start off with Bradley Sidhu, the 20-year-old two-way. Again, massive as a two-way from the Everett Silvertips. Mr. Sidhu is pretty damn good. There we go. That is helpful. Like nearly immediately helpful. Thank you, Bradley Sidhu. Again, medium top 9 at 20 years old. That's that bang average potential. The bang average potential. However, he is a 75 overall. So that is huge for us. Mr. Sidhu, welcome to the team. I mean, potential-wise, we've done okay, but that's the first kind of game changer that we have found so far, mainly due to the overall. We have 2 more wingers, and then we'll focus on the defense. Bradley Pope, it's a little bit bigger of a risk, but the 18-year-old from the Everett Silvertips will be our next selection, and he's a swing and a miss. Low bottom 6 to 55 overall. Low bottom 6 has been an incredibly rare potential, but unfortunately that didn't quite work out. We will take 1 more forward in this draft, unless there are no defensemen, in which case we'll just, go for some of the other randoms. But we have Barry Fritz from the Spokane Chiefs, also 20 years old. And that one is a swing and a miss. So it doesn't always work out. 60 overall, medium AHL top 6 potential. Ever since I said we hadn't been doing that poorly, we've had 2 complete swings and misses back to back. So we'll hope to make up for that by scouting out some defense here. Although, I do have to wonder, goaltending-wise, is there anybody? Although that's the least of our concerns, really. By the time, say we do get another medium elite goaltender, by the time they could even be an RFA, say they weren't even going to develop, by the time they were either ready to take over, or by the time we could leave them to free agency as an RFA and try to get something out of it, it would pretty much be too late anyway for it to have a major effect. So, Stuart John Law, much like some of the other defensemen, one of those guys that we could take if there's nobody else, which is looking like it's possible, so I'm actually going to mark him down. Who else do we have here? Webster? No. Van Allen? No. Slychuk? Also not eligible. This is unfortunate. Hatcher? Nope. Oh, this is rough. Brandon Corbin, not eligible. And Altschuler's the last one. Wow, there is nobody on defense. We literally have 1 player left that's eligible, so we might as well take him. Stuart John Law, the 18-year-old from the Everett Silvertips, will be our selection here in the 5th round, and he is the worst pick yet. So, overall, this may go down as our worst draft yet. This has been probably the worst draft, just in general, that we have seen in this run. There hasn't been anybody worth selecting, really, for any team. This has been a god-awful draft for everybody. There's no one eligible that we'd want to take anyway. So, I believe some of those extra players were centers. Yeah, the first guy that comes to mind is Rich Guilas? I don't know. Richie Rich is our pick, and he is hot garbage. Thank God we only have 1 selection left, as the past 4 picks have been absolutely miserable. But them's the breaks in a series like this, where we have such limited options, of course, by our own design. So let's see, who else was eligible? I'm trying to remember here. Was Fitz? No. Trying to remember. McKay was, though. Yeah, Tony Mackey. I'll call him McKay, though. Tony is going to be our final pick. Low top 9, 59 overall is not terrible, considering the past few selections we had made. So overall, a very poor draft for us, but again, that might have been the worst draft top to bottom for every team in the league, so I'm not that upset. But obviously it's disappointing when we had that many extra selections, but you never quite know how it's going to work out, and luck certainly was not on our side for this particular draft. But in the meantime, we have to switch up our focus here. We have to get this team ready for next season. Hargrave does not want to re-sign, so we'll bump him up to 1.2. Again, Oshie doesn't want to re-sign. We will, again, just try to sign him on a year-by-year basis. Let's go 1 year at 13 mil. On defense, Parker needs a contract. He is willing to re-sign, so we will try to hit him with the 85% trick, just in case. Especially too when we have some people not wanting to come back, things could get a little bit expensive. I can knock it down to 3.7. We'll go 3.8 over 4 years. Bishop, of course, absolutely needs a new deal. He doesn't want to re-sign. We'll go 1 year at $3 million for him. Of course, some of these deals are going to start getting expensive. And I mean, that's our top 6 right there. Wakabayashi is ready. So our defense is set. O'Donnell, Reza, Mile, Parker, Wakabayashi, and Bishop. We're good to go. It's just whether or not that forward core can kind of catch up. So from there, we need our next best 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with Ty Smith. McDonald is signed. He doesn't exactly need playing time. There's no point in signing Ma. No point in signing Festerini or Farrell perhaps. Yeah, my God, so many swings and misses. So all we have to do is bring back who we already have on this team. And we should be good to go as long as some of these guys don't start rejecting the max entry level deal. We'll bring back Marco just for the sake of having that team be as competitive as possible. And Crane as well. Ty Smith as well. I forgot about him. So we're good. Forward-wise, Klo needs a big boy contract. He wants to come back. We'll just, try to get a tad bit of a discount. Jake Bengoa, now 28 years old, needs a deal. Might as well bring him back. Sauer. You know what? I actually need to take a look here. So someone like Janik, not quite worth signing yet. You know what? That's exactly what I want to look at, is unsigned. Who do we have here? So Sidhu needs a deal. That's undeniable. Fritz isn't worth signing. And then at center, Redden can also be signed. Brust I'm not going to worry about. Okay, so from there it kind of drops off a little bit. Let's see. So forward-wise, I mean, Jesus, Bengoa, obviously. We're going to sign for 6 years. I'm going to drop that down to 1 year, and we'll try 12.5 per to start. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5. Lorentz needs to come back. He doesn't want to re-sign. We'll try to get him at 1 year, $4 million. So again, he was the 5th option. 6, 7 is Belfour. Bump him up to 4.25. So again, 3, 6, 7, 8 is Anderson Dolan, who does want to come back, so that's slightly helpful. 9th is Volk. Bump him up to 2.25. 10th is Hamhuis. He'll want to re-sign, so that'll be nice and give ourselves a slight discount. Klo. And then Kyler Yamamoto has a ridiculous deal. So again, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with Yamamoto. So from there, let me drop that down to bits. So that is the next 9. I'm going to want the highest overall players here. Bits is willing to re-sign. So I'll give myself that slight discount. Moses also wants to come back. Barabal, Whitfield, sign him up. Van Allen, Sidhu, Horton can come back. That's fine by me. Prefer to only bring you back for 1 year, though. And Sauer. So that is the first 9. We need 3 more. So Connor, Bengoa, and Dillman. So Morgan Geeky's also signed. I could cut Dillman so that Geeky has room to play. That's exactly what I'm going to get. Exactly what I'm going to do. We don't need him. So again, that's our top 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then from Yamamoto down, 9, 10, 11, and 12 with Rintoul. So even then, Morgan Geeky probably won't be able to play. So I'm going to let go of Braithwaite. He's not going to develop at this point. So let's just outright release him just to get rid of some of the clutter. Unfortunately, though, I am looking to bring back Berry. So we may end up with a healthy scratch or two, but it is what it is. And Meyer will not be signed. No reason for that. Let's reverse this over. Bogosian will be let go of. So many draft picks. So many unsuccessful draft picks. Reisner is probably worth signing, but he's 19, so we can wait. Same with, then again, though, they're UFAs. All right, we'll sign up Reisner. Yeah, see, this is the issue. We do have too many players signed, and certain players are just going to sit there, but it is what it is. And again, someone like Janik isn't worth signing. Janik might actually be AHL eligible. There's no real way of knowing right now, but we'll see what happens from here. I know some players are going to reject somewhat lowballed offers. That's to be expected. I'm trying to save some money where I can, though. It's at least having, it's worth having it be a little bit tedious. So let's see. And again, I'm just going to spam the A button here as soon as possible. Of course, you can see it mixed in already with the rejecteds. That is to be expected. But let's go back. And we will sort all of this out. Where are we cap-wise? Still have 55, so we know guys like Ben Goa and like Oshie probably rejected. Indeed, they did. So, Oshie. You know what? Yeah, at this point. I preferred the attempt of a 1 year, but you know what? Let's just go for it. So 32, 33, 34, and 35. Let's sign you until you're 35. I'll bump it up to 13 mil. Yeah, 13 mil over 7 years. That's not bad. It's worth it for us. And then Hargrave as well. Not sure why you're rejecting, but we'll bump it up to 1.5. That should be enough. Defensively, we need to sign Gleason. That's kind of what I was not looking forward to. Let's go 1.2 on a one-way deal. Riddle, same thing. We'll go 1.2 on a one-way deal. Crane was also going to be re-signed. And guess what, buddy? You're getting the same contract because you should sign it. And from there, I think we're okay. Ma's not worth signing. Farrell. Holmberg can be let go of. And obviously never going to sign him. And from there, we are okay. I could just buy out the contract of Festerini, but we'll just have him sit there. It's all well and good. Right wing, Jake Bengoa, he has to stay. It's not ideal, but it makes sense to have him stay. We gave up so much for him, so Janik doesn't need to sign. A lot of our guys did sign, though, so that's good. Unfortunately, Trent did not. I'm going to try to sign you for 5 years, up until you're 35, and we'll go $13 million a season as well. So that's a lot of money invested between two players, but it makes sense. Anderson Dolan, bump you up to $3 million for the season. I tried to lowball you a little bit, so whatever, we'll give you a bit of a raise. Volk also needs a new deal. We'll bump you up to $3 million. We still have plenty of cap space, thankfully. Obviously I've been a little bit hesitant, but it's worked out. Horton might actually be worth not signing. He's one of the guys I was kind of regretting sending an offer to, so we get a little bit of a chance for redemption. Let's go 1 year, $5 million for Belfour. And that should be good. No reason to sign anybody else. Okay. You know what? I know for a fact here. I'm just going to let go of Horton. We have some other players that can step into the lineup, some of which have an opportunity to get even better. So it's worth just letting go of him. He might technically be a higher overall than whoever will take his spot in the AHL lineup, but for the most part, it should work out. So let's see what we're dealing with here. Hopefully everyone resigns just to keep this simple. Trent is back. Belfour, Oshie, Hargrave, you're a dick. Bengoa, Volk, Riddle, you're a dick. Gleason, Crane, and Anderson Dolan. So only 2 players rejected for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I love that under the AI logic, someone like Hargrave thinks he's actually going to be signed on the open market for more than $1.5 million over this next season. He is batshit insane, but that's okay. We will overpay for him because we can afford to do so. And the only other option was Riddle, who is also batshit insane for thinking he is going to get any more than what I'm willing to offer him, or thinking he's going to get a contract with any other team. It's not going to happen. It can't even happen in this game. You can't go over to Germany to continue your career. You're just going to sit on the free agent list and toil away. Does that sound like a better alternative than playing with Seattle, who were a playoff team last year, although granted you would be down with Tacoma, and they have been nowhere close. So you know what? Maybe he's on to something. Maybe. Hargrave and Riddle have both re-signed. We are good to go. We may have to sign one free agent, one veteran free agent to a max deal. I believe we have the roster space for it. We should. If we don't, for a forward, or just a skater in general, we would have the ability to sign a goaltender still, since we only have 4 under contract right now. So let's take a look. That's a pretty rough free agent class. Who do we have for a forward? Tyler Seguin. 80 overall. That's a bit too good. Curtis Lazar, Bailey, JT Compher, Sam Morin, Hudson Fashing, and Francis Perron. Curtis Lazar? Do I want to sign Curtis Lazar? I kind of do. Maybe. I don't know. Is there another name that really jumps off the page here? Carter Verhaeghe. Roland McCown, Michael Bunting, Austin Wagner, Sandberg. There's got to be somebody here, right? Like, who's that one big-time name that I'm really interested in signing? I don't want to waste too much time with this, but, you know, it's worth it to me, damn it. Matt Luff, AJ Greer. AJ Greer. Sign him up. It is still the stupidest thing in the world to me that the actual AJ Greer out of nowhere on Twitch one night showed up saying, "Hey, do you want to play?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm not falling for that garbage. If you're actually AJ Greer, follow me on Twitter." He did. It was actually him. So boy, that's the one time in the history of time that someone has shown up in a chat saying, "Hey, I'm this NHL player," and it was actually them. So yeah. That was pretty ridiculous. So, hey, the dream is still alive. If AJ Greer can show up, then damn it, maybe one day Chris Rumble will as well. That's the new dream. Who needs sponsorships on Twitch, right? Nah, just keep the dream alive that your favorite DEL player, although I'm not sure if Rumble is back in the DEL. I still say I am going to start a campaign over the summer for the Maine Mariners of the ECHL to bring in Chris Rumble and name him their captain in Season 1. I think I might start a petition. That could take off. I have, 8K plus subs? And with some of the people I know, in the community that have even more, I could be like, hey, retweet this shitty, stupid idea for me. We might be able to get a decent amount. To the point where you'd think an ECHL team would be like, yeah, sure, let's go for it. No guarantees Rumble would want to sign, but Maine's a great state. It really is. Why not? I mean, and if you're in Germany for the beer, I mean, Portland's a great beer city. It's a great brewery city. So, I mean, come on, let's make this happen. Anyway, that's side rant aside. Let's see what this team is going to look like for next season, as, of course, we have some playoff aspirations. So the goaltenders, Oshie and Hargrave, as you already knew, Wisniewski and Chelios down in the AHL. Let's hope Chelios isn't a complete shit show. Defensively, O'Donnell, Reza, Miele, and Parker. That's amazing. And then, of course, the rookie, Wakabayashi, with Bishop. I love it. I love it so much. Forwards, the top 12. That is the question. Anderson Dolan is down. Barabal will probably be down. Sidhu's almost ready. Barabal was amazing in his rookie season in the AHL last year, but I'm looking at those numbers. He has a great shot. He does have a really good shot. Do I give him the opportunity? I'd have to send down one of these other guys. I don't think I can. I mean, the team by default's looking okay. There's a decent chance, though, that I end up calling him up. He would be a great addition. It's just whether or not now is the right time. So we're reuniting the Rogalski, Bengoa, Tanel line. From there, I'm not entirely sure. Jonas is the only one whose spot is secured. We could have Sutter. Vulcan, Klo, like no one else is good enough that they're really going to improve. Hamhuis is kind of capped out, unfortunately. Let me see what the AHL is looking like in terms of some of these top players. Anderson Dolan. I'm thinking Barabal is going to get the chance. And I might call up Sidhu as well, just because he has room to get better. And I like his chances to develop over Todd Champions. So, you know what? Who gets the bump? That's the question. Who gets bumped from this team? I think Bitts is one. Hamhuis I'll keep. He has that outside chance to get better, even though he won't. Offensively, he's not terrible. Defensively, he's okay. Bitts. Volk at least has the 90 offensive awareness. Klo also isn't terrible, though. Close a bit more well-rounded and better defensively. Say it comes down to Volk or Klo. And I think I'm leaning towards it being Volk that gets sent down. How did Volk do last season? 27 points isn't terrible. Bits with 14. Klo with 26. What about Hamhuis? How did he do? 17. Oh, Calvin, buddy. I think you might be the odd man out. It's you or Kyler. Kyler only put up 28, and he was on the second line last year. I don't know if it's time to demote Kyler Yamamoto, though. Kyler Yamamoto, though, you know, is what I was going to say. That's a tongue twister and a half. Belfour, though, was also pretty disappointing last year. I mean, 35 points is okay. Do I want to make room for Sidhu also, or just go for Barabal? I think I'm just going to go for Barabal for now, and we're going to drop bits from this lineup. So, Cedric, congratulations, buddy, and you are going to get a chance to shine early. Whether or not this is the right move or not, time will tell. Could be considered rushing him to the NHL level, maybe a bit early than he's ready for. But he is going to be up there. Belfour, how did you do again? 35 points. Yeah, I'm thinking that's good. Can either of you two play center? Jonas can kind of sort of play center. And then from there, what's the rest of the team looking like? Let's see. Close of 72. All right, so Volk is going to be the center. I think from there, Hamhuis again kind of struggled point-wise, only 17. Klo put up 26. How did Volk do point-wise? 27. Lorentz put up 22. Sutter, 31. And Yamamoto with 28. Somebody has to be dropped, though. And I'm not sure who. Oh, man, I suppose... I think what I'm going to do is go Klo, Yamamoto, Sutter, Hamhuis, Volk, and Lorentz. So overall, the team's looking great, really. It's just, I mean, yeah, there's no complaints. This team is looking good. Are we worthy of a champions team status? Probably not. Offensively, it's still a little bit rough. A lot of players, just didn't develop the way we needed them to. But for the most part, we're looking pretty good. And in terms of a chance for a repeat playoff appearance, I'd say it's pretty high. We have nobody else that we have to take out of the lineup there, do we? Yeah, we're good to go. Festerini and McDonald, I don't really care about, so we'll go with the higher overall players. That is fine by me. We have the extra righty and Marco. And we will bump up Gardner. He still has the outside chance to get better. So that works. Gardner, Riddle, Crane, Gleason, Smith, and Marco on defense. And then forward-wise, of course, we have to sit Greer. Oh, boy. This is going to be a little bit rough. Bear Rentoul will, of course, get into the lineup. And from there, lower overalls first outside of Bengoa. So, yeah, being 26 and with that potential, Connor is the next on the chopping block. And he will be taken out. He's better than Barry. I don't think Lance Barry is going to make it into the lineup. He's not going to get much better than that. McBride and Mietnin are not ours. At center, Evan Coop. We also have Redden and Reisner. And then at right, Mikola and Bolig. Bolig being medium top 9 out of 22. I don't have much faith in that, but Redden and Coop. Let's see, Bolig was a 66. Redden and Coop might be worth it. In which case, we would probably take out Van Allen and Connor. So we have the option of making the team a little bit worse for the sake of their potential development, or we just go with the better players. And I gotta be honest, I think I'm just gonna go with the better players because it doesn't make that much of a difference. I think those other two, they're not can't-miss players. Like, say, Sidhu, for example, who should absolutely be a part of this team. So Geeky's going down to the fourth line. And from there, that works. Let's go Rintoul, Whitfield, Bengoa, Geeky. And then at center, we have a 77, a 75. Let's put Van Allen at center. 74. All right, is there anything better than a 71? The answer is no. So that works, actually. Might want Champion and Sauer on a slightly better line. That works, though. So we're going to have Bitz, Sidhu, and Rintoul, Anderson, Dolan, Moses, Whitfield, Champion, Van Allen, and Jake Bengoa, Sauer, Connor, and Geekie. Is that team good enough to make the playoffs? I don't know, but I certainly hope so. Overall, again, I feel like both teams are in a decent spot. It would be nice for Tacoma to make the playoffs. They also apparently have Champions team status. It would be nice for Tacoma to make the playoffs, although I can't expect it. It would also be great. I mean, it's kind of a necessity, really, for the Sea Cattle to make the playoffs. Like, that is a must. They have to make it. Anderson Dolan will be the captain of Tacoma with Bengoa and Smith as alternates. So again, for Tacoma, making the playoffs would be great. For Seattle, it is a necessity, especially after last season. We have proven that we can get the job done. The team is even better now with the addition of Wakabayashi. We will see what happens, though, next time out. For now, we are done here. Overall, a very disappointing draft, although we got a couple of pieces that might work out for us in the near future. For the most part, though, it was about player progression and about, just simply getting this team into place. And for the moment, we look all right. And I'll give you an early look, actually, as I hit the wrong button there. We'll give you an early look at what the draft could be shaping up to be like in terms of players who are eligible. Anybody high up here? Cleary is not. We do have Matt Mealy. So Matt Mealy is an early one to keep our eyes on. And of course, we'll also be keeping our eyes on Washington throughout this entire upcoming season. There's also Terrence Gillies, someone projected early on for a top 10 spot. One defenseman, one forward. I'd like to end up with either one, preferably the forward, but an extra defensive addition might not hurt. Let's actually take a look at the Caps lineups. Hopefully it's set up the way it will be in the regular season. And I'm going to guess that's the case. And you know what I mentioned about them getting help? Well, there you go. Shane Roenick, 87 overall, medium elite, 21 years old. They also have a 34-year-old Brock Besser. That team, I can tell you, is looking better than it happened to last season. Although defensively, it's still a little bit rough. But with Joseph Hainsey between the pipes, anything is possible for them. So we have our own teams to worry about. We also have Washington to worry about. The drama continues as we move along. The 2031-2032 season will be simmed in the next episode. But until then, we're done here. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate the support. Leave a like, subscribe, and all that fun YouTube stuff with the notification bell that everyone else brings up all the time. You know what to do. Thank you again. Links are in the description of my Twitter and Twitch. Give me a follow on both of those platforms if you have not already done so. And until next time, have a good one. Take it easy. I'll see you later.